Let's go over to the West Coast for my favourite, well, one of my favourite sections of the week, Monday night, 9 p.m, Kinsey Schofield on the West Coast. Welcome, Kins.
Hey, Kev, good to hear your voice. Good to see you.
Always a pleasure. Well, let's remind ourselves of the story that we actually broke last week, which was the brand new trailer for Harry and Meghan's Netflix series, Polo. So let's remind ourselves of this trailer.
Imagine going on a horse at 35 miles an hour with someone coming at you at full speed.
The adrenaline that goes through your body, it's addicting.
Polo is not just a sport. Polo is a lifestyle.
A whole bunch of dangerous things that can happen. It's not a motorized vehicle. It's not a car. I have a 1,200-pound animal.
Every day we have to move forward.
I'll do whatever I have to, because at the end of the day, I have to win.
Buckle up, folks. It's only going to get better from here.
When you crank it up to 11, people can't hold on.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kinsey, I mean, I simply can wait. I mean, you know, why do they think anyone cares? You and I have discussed before that we have objections because we're animal lovers. I think polo's a cruel sport. I think it's cruel to horses. But let's gloss over that for the time being. I mean, it's a bunch of people you've never heard of, you know, saying, oh, you know, we live and breathe polo is very important to us, when they're getting very angry about, like, not playing very well. Nobody cares about polo. Anyway, the point is, there's been a massive backlash to this trailer, many from Harry's own set, because Harry's set, his mates, his friends, they take polo seriously, and what they don't like is the fact that they've turned polo into a tacky reality TV show subject, that they've just said, oh, look at all these expensive cars and, you know, good-looking women and flashy men, and, you know, they've just turned it into, you know, I don't know, something like one of those real estate series about selling flashy houses, or Grand Prix or anything like that.
It's selling Sussex instead of selling Sunset.
Yeah, and a massive backlash saying that from his friends, saying this is ridiculous, this is ludicrous. You know, this is a ridiculous trailer for what promises to be a ridiculous series. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, first of all, I'd like to ask your opinion at some point. How do you think he pitched this thing? Because you and I have had quite a few laughs over some of the previous pitches. Emily in Paris, but with a dude. Oh, well, that's an original concept.
That's my favorite.
Some sort of Charles Dickens ripoff. You know, his pitches to Spotify, how he was going to interview Putin, interview Trump, who he is, how much mud has he slung Trump's way? I doubt that was an interview that Trump was going to be eager to sit down for. Interview the Pope. You know, Harry is
Don't forget, Kinsey, by the way, sorry to interrupt, but his idea of an idea. So when he said, I think I should interview major people, I should interview Putin and Trump and the Pope, and all the people at Netflix going, hang on, Harry, now you're talking. This sounds good. This sounds good. So you have connections with these people? You can set the... No, that's your job.
Exactly.
Netflix, someone say, you know, maybe we can't organise you a sit-down with Putin. I don't know, maybe not.
Or maybe we don't even want to be in charge of having to communicate with Putin. That might have been their argument too. But I'd like to know, because he had to have pitched this in a way where either Netflix assumed that there was going to be some royal element, whether it was Prince Harry. Perhaps Prince Harry sat down and said, I love this sport because my father, the king, loves this sport. His father before him, Prince Philip, loved this sport. I played the sport with my brother. So Netflix is thinking Royal Association. That is why we signed you on the dotted line. royals, royals, royals. Did he pitch that royal association, or did Netflix ignorantly make the assumption that they were going to get it? Because the Royal Association, I'll say even the Harry Association, is the only way that anyone has any interest in this whatsoever. So Harry's lack of appearance in the trailer, it leads you to believe there is a lack of presence in the entire series, reality show, and you are not committed to that journey. But his friends saying things like, it's hilarious, but not in a good way. Tacky and cringy. It is literally all the worst things about Polo. I watched it in appalled hysterics. If Prince Harry is reading those words, he has to be crushed because he knows them to be true.
Yeah, and you know, we reported some months ago that when he's been filming this for some time, mainly in Florida, where a lot of Polo takes place. And when the Netflix executives first sat down to look to what he'd been filming, they're all going, well, where's Harry? Where is he? Where is he? He's not in this show. Apparently, he makes a couple of very fleeting appearances. And this is mainly about his mate, an Argentinian guy called Nacho Fernandez. Crazy name.
That is not his name, Kevin. But it's a great. You're making a great point.
What is it? Nacho something? What is it?
Yeah, it's Nacho Figueroa, I
Whatever.
think. But the fact
it doesn't matter. Nobody knows. Well, nobody knows who he is.
It's so important.
Yeah.
Yes, it's so important that you don't know who he is. I don't know who he is. I mean, I know of him, but I mostly know of him through Prince Harry's association. What a terrible idea to throw a bunch of random people on screen and assume that we are going to have any sort of interest in them whatsoever. Yeah. But I know you cackled when you saw this line from Liz Jones in the Daily Mail. How can you lecture us about global warming when one player in the trailer, Kevin, admits he flies to Argentina twice a week to play polo?
Yeah, and in the trailer, there's this long line of Lamborghinis and Bugattis and Ferraris, not known for their brilliant work in saving the planet, those kind of cars. The whole thing is an assault on the environment, that's for damn sure, but it is Harry's lack of presence. I mean, I couldn't quite believe it, because what I'd have done if I was Netflix, I said, oi, Ginger, come here. Listen, Sonny Jim, we gave you $100 million. When you make a series about Polo, get this, you're in it. And if you're not in it, we're not going to show it. However, they seem to have buckled under, from what we're seeing from the trailer. Netflix incredibly seem to have accepted this idea that Harry's series that he's not in, about Figueroa Nacho or whatever his name is, and all of his Argentinian South American friends, is somehow going to fly as a series. It's not. Nobody cares about Polo. Nobody cares about Figueroa's Nacho or whatever his name is. Nobody cares about these people. Oh, my God, we didn't play very well. Damn! Oh, no! People go, well, what? We don't care. They want Harry in this, and he's not in it. This is going to be a disaster.
I also, though, think about how defeated Spotify was when they ended their relationship with Harry and Meghan. Think of all the millions of dollars. Now, Harry and Meghan didn't get the entire payout, but they did get millions of dollars from Spotify for one episode of a Christmas special that featured Harry. The rest was Meghan. I think they got 12 original episodes of Archetypes from Meghan and all of her Hollywood friends, which was supposed to be a podcast about normal people changing their communities. But they got one episode out of Prince Harry, and Prince Harry was barely in that Christmas special because it was Tyler Perry and Elton John. Harry's objective from the very beginning was to thrust the responsibility on someone else. Now, he had to. His arms were crossed. He absolutely had to do the Netflix series that was so painful towards his family, because I think that Netflix would not have given them the deal otherwise. But since then, you've seen him try to shove the responsibility off on other people. And I think Spotify was so angry and disappointed in the content they got from Prince Harry that Netflix might be sitting back going, well, at least we got something, because Spotify got nothing.
Well, I mean, maybe, but I would just think Netflix are trying to make the best of a bad job. That they've paid out a lot of money, haven't got much in return. They got the Harry and Meghan documentary series, which was quite sort of numerically successful, but it was basically 6 episodes of Harry and Meghan dumping all over the royal family, calling everybody in Britain racist. So it was quite controversial in that effect. But after that, those two have got nothing to give. And Spotify, when they came to the end of their contract, or they cancelled their contract, one boss was heard to say that Harry and Meghan are a couple of effing grifters. So that was Spotify's view. My feeling is a lot of people at Netflix probably feel the same. Now...
Can I quickly say before you move on?
Yeah.
I do feel like it was a missed opportunity, because there's all of these people saying, you and I have just challenged this before, but Harry not updating Spare was an olive branch. I think you and I both agree he's just lazy. It's not an olive branch. He's run out of words. He can't come up with any more words. The mushrooms have stolen them from him. But I think that it was a missed opportunity for Prince Harry not to make this show. Horse abuse aside, he could have made this a love letter to his family's traditions. Yeah. He could have made this a love letter to how he bonded with his brother and his father. It was a missed opportunity for him to create something special about I'll pretend that I believe every page of Spare. There was love, competition, and fierce joy in Harry competing in polo, and the way that he experienced that with his brother, his father, and his grandfather. What a missed opportunity to not channel that. And that I would consider that an olive branch, if he was like joyfully reminiscing about that upbringing.
Yeah, I think he didn't want to do that because he'd annoyed the royal family and the king enough, and he just wanted to back out of the whole situation. But if you don't update your hardback when you release the softback, the paperback, your book will die. And his book was last seen languishing, the paperback version of Spare was last seen languishing at 73rd in the worst sellers chart. So that book is a disaster. The feel-bad book for Christmas is indeed selling very, very badly. What about, just quickly before you go, Kinsey, the mounting problems for Meghan? First of all, her half-sister Samantha is reigniting her legal bid to prove that her allegation that Meghan libelled her by saying she was responsible for a group that were pillorying her on social media. Samantha said I had nothing to do with it. So Samantha's now given a big interview in the Daily Mail saying, my God, you know, we're used to Meghan treating us badly, the Markles badly. We never thought she'd do it to the Queen, so she's getting very bad publicity there. There are stories that Harry's trying to negotiate a peace pact to come back to Britain and do frontline royal duties again, but the royal family are saying, not if you bring Meghan with you, and Meghan wants to come, apparently. And also, oh my God, and this probably is the biggest story of all, poor Meghan has lost her best friend, lovely neighbour, Ellen DeGeneres, who's joined the Trump brigade. She's quitting Trump's America to live in the English countryside.
To literally be neighbours with King Charles. I mean, the irony.
Yeah, so I don't think that Meghan will be following Ellen DeGeneres, do you?
No, absolutely not. And, you know, there is word that she's really upset because Netflix is super excited about House of VB, Victoria Beckham's new docuseries about her business, her fame, and her being a girl boss, which is what Meghan's so desperate to be. Victoria Beckham, the antithesis of Meghan Markle, hard worker, hustler, works under the radar, and then pops up with something that is, you know, that's come to fruition, doesn't deep tease things that never happen. Rich, the closest you can have to royalty in the UK. that's not royalty when it comes to celebrity. I mean, there's so much envy there. So Meghan upset that Netflix is so excited about House of VB. Goop, the decline of Goop. What does that say about American Riviera Orchard? Experts here are saying it's too crowded, the celebrity lifestyle field. That Goop, Gwyneth Paltrow, the queen of it, the first eco retailer, is struggling to compete with all these other lines like Jessica Alba's, Hilary Duff's, Jenny McCarthy's, you name it, a celebrity, Rihanna. So how is Meghan going to survive that in her, when she actually does finally launch American Riviera Orchard? The list goes on and on. She has so many struggles ahead of her. And reading some of the reports that have happened over the last year about her behavior behind the scenes in management at Archewell, her inability to collaborate and her inability to communicate with kindness will continue to hold her back and will continue to be her downfall.
That's a really good point. And that thing about Victoria Beckham, the thing about Victoria Beckham and indeed the Beckhams, there's just enduring fascination with the Beckham clan. People are always interested in Victoria and David and the kids. Sometimes, I must admit, I wonder why, but they are. The problem with Meghan is people are not endlessly fascinated by her. They're interested in her relationship with Harry. They're interested in, the whole dramatic saga of Megxit and coming to America, but they're not that interested in her. And her name has been very tarnished and made much more toxic by this bullying row or the allegations of bullying. And the fact that she's never seen with Harry anymore. There are increasing rumours about the marriage, but interest in Meghan is declining. And interesting to hear you say that she's wildly jealous of Victoria Beckham, because Victoria Beckham, people will always be interested, and maybe they won't always be interested in Meghan. In fact, they're proving that they're not. Unless her and Harry are pouring a bucket over the royal family, nobody really wants to know. That's their problem. Nope. It's either hate or it's nothing. And it's certainly not boring series about horse sports like Polo. Ridiculous.
Or her trying to convince us that she's a family and friends and entertainment person while her sister's in the newspaper saying, please call our father, he's dying. Yeah, how are we supposed to take her seriously as this loving, compassionate person that's saving a seat at the dinner table for Gloria Steinem when her father hasn't had a healthy meal? And how many years? Because he's sick and he's not well. So also just to prove your point, new YouGov poll, Meghan Markle is 17th most popular royal.
17th. Now, are there any more than 17 royals? Well, she's not royal. She's royal. She's behind Princess Alexandra, who only like 56% are familiar with, where Meghan is 99% people are familiar with her. So 17th in line is not, how the mighty have fallen. Yeah, indeed. But never forget, Kinsey, Meghan Markle is not a real royal. Everybody knows that. Great to talk to you, Kinsey. Let's talk again very soon. That's Kinsey Schofield, our royal commentator over there on the West Coast.